If you like these tutorials, check out Next Level Painting on Patreon. Become a patron of the arts today. We offer early and exclusive access to our videos and a rewards program for different pledge levels. Patreon is PayPal and credit card secure, so you don't have to worry about that. We use 100% of the money to improve our process. Yo dog, Kenny Boucher here, Next Level Painting, hitting you up on the literal best of all days on this glorious Friday, coming to you hot from the Beats Lab in sunny California, in the mountains of Hollywood. We got a fresh new tutorial for you. Today, we're going to be doing some Orky freehand on an awesome alternate model provided to me by puppetswar.eu. This is an amazing model. I love the plane. It is super sweet. It's quite clearly an alternate model that you can use to represent anything you want in the Ork lineup. I'm using it to represent the Deathcopters. You're going to be following me on my own personal army along a journey. We're going to be working on some Orks for the next few months. I'm going to be doing them on the live stream, and I'm going to do some more narrowed focus videos here, like maybe just one aspect of painting versus like a broad, let's paint this ultramarine and like kind of like cover every little area of it. I'm going to say, let's focus on the glyphs. Let's focus on the freehand. Let's focus on the metals. And then now we got the live stream every Tuesday. The date changes sometimes, but we're doing Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. And obviously, if you go over to the Twitch channel by following the links in the description box, it will always update there on Twitch with the date of the next scheduled broadcast. So check that out. The live tutorials are an hour long. We're diving into the Orks. We'll be doing these Puppets War alternate models. After the plane, we're going to be doing the Green Baron. Real quick, special shout out to all my patrons. You guys been coming in super fresh over on Patreon. It has been changing the game. Also, we got the longword.net, obviously is the fastest growing video library in wargaming. You got to check that out when you get a chance. A new special announcement, the Longword Dice Bag is back. Limited time only. You're going to want to go over to spikeyBits.com/Kickstarter. And you can see the new promotion for the Longword Dice Bag there and what we're trying to kickstart. Anyway, let me do a quick shout out and let's start this video. I want to shout out Matthew, David, Chris, Carl, Ronnie, Ronan, Adam, and Donovan. Thank you, my brother. You guys help me make this happen every day, all day, every day. Yo, but real quick, on Patreon now, we have the opportunity to do some gifts and some prizes. Different pledge levels are now going to be met with new rewards, reoccurring gifts even. So anyway, check out the Patreon page. You get the early access, the exclusive videos, and it's always ad-free. Let's jump right into this tutorial. Let's do this thing. Let's paint some Orky glyphs, some freehand designs on the Puppets War plane. You can see here that I've already painted half of the model for the most part. And you can follow along in the Twitch live streams we're doing every week where I paint the Ork army that you guys can follow along with. Now on this side, obviously, I've got nothing, just the base airbrush of the red built up. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to grab two air colors. And it's only because air colors are actually really easy to paintbrush with. We're going to take the black and the white. And we're going to mix them up into a real light gray. And we're going to base coat the little areas of the plane, the airlines and the elevators, on the, all those little technical terms for what these parts on the airplane are. We're going to build up to a much lighter gray. And the reason we're doing this is it's a lot easier to paint the black triangles in over like a near white color than it is to do the reverse. And we could have airbrushed this. We could have easily taped this off and done some sick airbrushing. But I feel like I'm going for an organic, more textured look because it is Orks. I don't feel like the super clean transitions of the airbrush fits the overall look of the model. It's a very textured, very beat up model. It looks very organic, and I want the freehand to be organic. I want it to be freehand because I want it to look like the models in the universe painted these on, not like they were factory produced, which is what the airbrush would have achieved. So build up these layers, light gray to even lighter gray. Hit all the little areas. Use the appropriate amount of water to thin it down. Several thin coats will work wonders here. You can see, hit every area, bottom, tops, everything. You don't want to slack. You don't want to just do the tops of these wings and one side of anything. Once you establish the lighter gray, you know, it's time to start thinking about how you want to do your pattern. Now, you could have done checkers, but I'll be straight up with you. The triangles are a lot easier than a bunch of little alternating squares. That definitely factored in. Now, you can see here, I'm kind of ghost tracing where I want the teeth to be. And then I'm going to take black and I'm going to just outline it. Now, you could use a soft lead pencil to draw the design in, but this is such an easy design. You can do it with a paintbrush. And we're just going to thinly outline the triangles or the teeth or whatever you want to call them. Real easy, super easy. Get a nice little liner brush or detail brush. And it's not a difficult task. And don't get too overly concerned with making these little triangles perfectly sharp. We're going to have some highlighting opportunities to cut them back in and sharpen them. Now, once the outlines are established, you can start filling in the negative space with black. And that basically leaves us with the white behind for the alternating white teeth. As you can see, this would have been a lot harder if you started black and tried to paint white teeth. White is a very difficult color to paint over dark colors, which is also why we built up to a much lighter gray, almost white. This is a slow, methodical process. You definitely want to take your time here. You don't want to panic because you basically don't want to make it more difficult than it is. If you slow down and you really take deliberate strokes, you can cut out a lot of touching up. But touching up will almost always need to happen. And one of the effects we're going to be going for here is kind of like I said, a textured freehand design. And you'll see that in the highlighting process coming up here. I like to do all my freehand at once, but I'm only going to show you this one wing here. We're only going to finish this one wing, that is. But I'm going to show you how I draw the teeth on all the surfaces. We're going to repeat the same process here. We're going to trace these little teeth in on these, I guess is the airline, the rudder or something. I don't know. Maybe the elevator. I don't know all the technical terms for airplanes. Same deal. And this is a little bit more difficult because it's got to kind of match the teeth on the other side. So it's easy to kind of like do a spot check as you're drawing the teeth in. And if you mess it up, like I said, you can remove steps with the highlighting process. Fill in these teeth, use the black. This is where the airbrush colors are really good. The Vallejo air colors, they're pre-watered for airbrush. They're almost perfect. No water needed for the paintbrush section. I just love, they apply so much easier than non-airbrush paints for situations like this. I do love the normal game line that Vallejo makes for a totally different reason, but the airline has been my friend for many years. It's coming out nice and fresh. The teeth they're taking shape. Now, this is where I flip it over. Now, you'll see that I've kind of marked a couple of little dots toward the bottom here of this particular area. Those correspond with the spikes on the top. And I did this so that if you ever flipped it over, you would notice that the spikes lined up perfectly, because there is going to be an edge there on the back where you can see if they line up. On the very back, you'll notice that, you know, you basically have to pick a color. And if you don't line the teeth up right, it's going to look stupid. So same kind of deal, you know, fill in the black teeth, take your time, paint them in real sharp. This is what I talk about. Don't, you know, be listening to your Netflix in the background, turn it all off. Less strokes better. So you can see, here's the side we already finished. And you can see there's a kind of a textured look to it with some highlights. And the side we just put in doesn't have that. It gives it kind of a slight three-dimensional element, like it's almost like the model company designed the three-dimensional elements of it. And that's an easy technique to create. Like, we're gonna do it right here. Now we're gonna pull out the pure white and we're gonna redraw the lines directly around the black. This is gonna do two things. First thing it's gonna do is help us sharpen that black tooth to a perfect sharp point. The other thing it's going to do is highlight the edges of the white perimeter of those teeth, creating a slightly raised look, as if the light was catching the edges, giving you that three-dimensional element like I was talking about. GW almost exclusively now makes squad markings three-dimensionally on shoulder pads. This is kind of a technique to kind of, you know, recapture that. Same deal, just kind of pay by numbers, trace the lines you've already established, sharpen the angles, get a nice, solid, clean white line. It can be a little fat if you want, because we're going to come back in with the neutral grays and kind of reblend it. We want it to mostly look white, but we want some of that gray to still exist in those white teeth, because that's how you create a nice little transition. You want a gradient, it makes things far more interesting. Like I said, I reiterate, broken record. Take your time, be methodical, be slow. You see the pinky out? That's an ancient Chinese technique right there. That is another point of stabilization. Holding the paintbrush very close to the tip, using my hand to brace, and you might not even notice it, but right now I'm even holding this model in my lap because I want all the points of like just power. I want my legs, my elbows, and my fingers even bracing for this delicate work. This is something that I do. I paint all my detail work in my lap. I don't know if other people at home do this, but I do. And you see we're building up that nice white line, those highlights, building it around all the angles. It's coming out real nice, giving it something exciting. You could have just easily painted these, filled them in with solid colors and called it a day, but we're going to take it to the next level. And we're going to do the same thing we're doing on the white side here. We're going to do that to the black teeth here in just a minute. Once we get these blends to look fresh, and we're happy with the transitions and we're happy with how much it pops, we'll move on to the black and draw a nice skinny dark gray line on the inside of the black teeth. And that's how you're going to enhance the three-dimensional look and quality of these orky freehand glyphs. Now we're going to go back to the side we already finished, and you can see that we painted some nice little highlights in there in the black like I was talking about. And I just want to show you guys exactly what we're about to do. So just in case the light is washing anything out, you can see it here where it's not still wet and still unsealed. Real careful, skinny, dark gray lines. Paint them real nice. Leave a little bit of a black border between the white and the gray line you're drawing now. That'll really help create that three-dimensionality and that contrast between the two colors. There it is. This is a good looking model with some nice subtle freehand that doesn't take very long at all to do. This can be accomplished by almost anyone of any skill level after following these steps. Like I said before, follow along live on the Twitch stream. And here's a little sneak peek of what we're going to be doing next. Here's all the rest of the plain bits. The rider, the buzzsaw, the twin leg rockets, his face. I'm going to show you next level painting on the live stream how to put all these pieces together. Thanks for watching, players. Check out thelongwar.net. Become a member of the Hall of Veterans today for the fastest growing library of war game related video content, modeling, painting, and playing. Not to mention all the sick discounts I receive from some of our sponsors. Thelongwar.net is committed to bringing hobby back, and we can't do it without you.